Hello, everyone. Welcome back to There Are Four Hosts. Once again, there are four hosts. I'm Sabrina. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, or Instagram at VoidCatGaming.
And I'm Michael. You can find me at Blue Beetle Games at Twitter.
Hey, I'm Jonathan. You can find me at JustAverageJ pretty much everywhere on the internet.
And I'm Keith. You can find me at Keith Hayward on Twitters.
I'm like doing a weird podcast voice today, and
Okay.
I don't know why.
I was hoping you'd notice that.
It's working.
It's working. I'm like trying to stay calm today. I, again, did not get any sleep. Okay, it's fine. Everything's great. We're talking about episode 8, Broken Pieces, today.
Are we talking about the coronavirus? Oh my god, oh my god.
We're not talking about the... No, we're not talking about the...
I mean,
No.
no.
I've had enough conversations about the coronavirus to laugh.
Enough emails,
okay. Oh dear. Okay.
What? Anyway.
Focus.
Whatever. All right. Before we get into the details, very basically, how do you feel about today's episode? Michael.
I give it like 3 out of 4. No, 3 out of 5 tribbles, I guess. So I just made that up.
3 out of 5 lights?
Yes, exactly. There you go.
3 out of 5 lights. Because there are not 4 lights? Okay.
Nice.
You can never actually give anything 5 lights. If you do, it's a lie.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, Jay, how did you feel about this episode?
I liked it. I loved it. There is a scene that basically made me stand up and scream, ah! But like in
like
happiness.
good ah or bad ah? Okay.
In happiness ah. Like, and it's really it's one of those things that's like purely, pandering to the Trekkie, but I was all in. I liked it. So I'll give it so are we doing out of 4 lights or 5 lights? Because if 5 lights are
Okay,
fake, then
we'll do it out of 4 lights.
Okay,
Like
okay.
if you really hate something, it gets 5 lights.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm going to give it 3.5 lights.
3.5 lights out of 4.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That one scene just really made it for you, huh?
I think
I look forward to finding out which scene you're referring to.
It's probably the one I happy cried at, too. So
Yeah, it probably is.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Keith?
Is it less lights and that's like worse, right?
sorry, I sprung that on people.
I
That was a weird joke. I'm sorry. Just forget ratings.
Yeah,
How
did
do you
you like
feel about
it?
this
Yeah.
episode?
I thought it was a blobby mess, and it'll be fun to talk about. I kept on trying to like stuff, and I kind of did. Is like I said, the biggest problem that I keep on every episode is it's not Star Trek. But what are they doing with what they have? So it was good. I think stuff happened on the screen. I'm trying to be nice to it. What'd you think?
I'm in the boat with you, Keith. I want to like it. It feels like a blobby mess. I literally like, why is everyone so inconsistent? It's like one of my big notes. I'm like, why? No, why?
Yeah.
Why are you guys doing it like this? Why are you calling it Star Trek?
There's like some monologues that I like, but in general, I'm just like, meh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it has a part of it has to do with what I think I walked in on you guys talking about, which is I've been watching those videos about like the difference between serialized and
Oh, we weren't talking about that at all, but go on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like the reason why I keep on posting pictures of like Stargate Atlantis or something like that is
Because
like,
it's amazing.
every 5 minutes we get like a story revealed of things that mean more, and the story builds upon itself, and you get a reveal and a twist, and it's like whoa, and then here the big reveal that is like stuff we still already know, like we don't like synths because they're dangerous, and you're like, what's anyway? Yeah, they keep the dessert away from us.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention it because it was last episode, not this episode. But that's exactly how I felt about like the Commander O scene with Agnes. It's like they showed us the scene without the information, and then later on they showed us the scene with the information. It's like you shouldn't have to do the same scene twice.
Yep,
Yeah.
still the same thing that we knew. Like, I'll be going deeper into like stuff that's in the story to critique more. So I'll wait for stuff. But like, I want to talk about what do you guys think the synth threat is?
You want to talk about that before or after?
I can wait. You can do scene by scene.
What is the synth threat?
I guess maybe that's the first scene we'd be talking about. But you're the captain.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. All right. Set. We begin on Aya, the Grief World, where the eightfold stars are whatever. They refer to it differently later on.
Orbs, I think.
The octonary system.
Which isn't that,
Octonary.
it's not that rare, you know, let's say, actually.
What?
It's not that rare.
An octonary system?
Well, you see the
Holy
middle
shit.
star and the Big Dipper. I did a little research on this, or like, and like also it's like a story
Wait,
that
actually?
I did. This is like a story that I've always kept with me since I've heard it, and like there's like the double star and the middle star, the Big
Binary
Dipper.
star, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually 6 stars. It's a 6-star system.
But they go around each other.
There's like 3 sets of binary stars that are all holding in pattern with each other. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so
I did not know. Thank you.
yeah. Welcome. So I was like, that's not that rare because of this rare fact that I know that, you know, not everybody needs to know.
Well, if science fiction doesn't teach you new real facts, then what do we even have it for?
True. But yeah, I guess I did like the idea of arranging the stars to point toward the clue, sort of.
They're like, this is a weird thing. Come see us so we can teach you about how dangerous androids are. All right. So, Eye of the Grief World is a circle of people. Only ladies are allowed, I guess.
Why? Son of a...
I don't know. Something about our
don't-
foremother. I don't know. That's a new thing. I've never heard about Romulans doing
I would
that.
say like Romulans don't do that at all. Like they are so homogenous that like you can't tell them apart unless you look really closely. Like the women
yeah,
are like
but
the leaders,
I mean,
the
it's
men are
weird
not.
because they did that with the Wave Absolute Candor too. They're all women.
True.
And I guess it's, you know, a virtue signaling sign, I think. I would love to read the
I
story
don't see a
reason.
particular reason why they did that.
Oh, well, but whatever.
Are you saying they can't do
story.
the job, Keith? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Oh, wait, oh my God. Cut my mic.
Yeah, so sorry. It's Commander O's there.
Mm-hmm.
Narissa is there. I finally learned her name because she had like a scene by herself. Narissa's there, and then the lady, the Borg lady, who it turns out is like her aunt that raised them, is there.
Yeah.
And aside from those 3 characters that we've already seen, everybody else just kills themselves.
I want a good reason.
So, how do you feel about that scene? Keith, you want to start us off?
Sure. I want a really good reason because the synth threat has been done before many times. They did it in the Orville, and then like in the Orville, we got like a reveal right away that would make you gasp, and it was like whoa, and it was really cool. So if people are like willing to kill themselves right away after they find out about this, like I hope they can deliver on this. And I don't like that they're keeping it away from us for so many episodes.
That they're
Yeah.
giving us like the disjointed flashbacky style.
Yeah, like I would have liked it if this episode we found out why would you kill yourself? What's the big deal? Like, is it just because they get sentient and take over, or is there something else? And plus, like the Star Trek galaxy is way old, and this threat of anyone making a synthetic life form doesn't seem like it should be that rare. And anyway, there's all piles of stuff that I have problems with.
Well, it's kind of like that Mass Effect, you know, the Reapers reappear every like so many. But again, that's Mass Effect. All right, Jay, how do you feel?
You know, I actually, it was kind of interesting because I forget Narek's sister's name, but you know, she was
Narissa.
like Narissa. Yeah, she's like the only one that like she's visibly shaken by it, but she doesn't lose her mind and like blow her brains out or rip her hair out or anything. And it just kind of goes to show you like she's already kind of a badass and she's already like this like mean person. So it just kind of solidifies the fact that she's heartless. You know what I mean? Like it just solidifies that she has like no soul to me.
But Jay, she cries a single tear.
I know. Yeah. I think that was just for effect, so she didn't look like an absolute, you know what. But
Monster.
yeah, I know. But it was just interesting because she you know, she was like the only one other than the O, which O obviously didn't touch it because she already had.
She already had, yeah.
But and it was kind of interesting how O came up and was like, like tapped her on the shoulder, basically like, you're gonna be my protege, like without saying it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But then it also makes sense because it made me wonder, first off, why that ship that got assimilated had such crazy people, and now we know why. Like you know, a lot of them were Javash, and then they got assimilated, so they all shared the same memories, so they all went a little crazy. Do you see what I'm saying?
The whole Borg
because
cube.
yeah, because
So-
there are
yeah.
male and female. So at first you're like, why are there guys that are crazy? But it's because they had a shared memory. Do you see what I'm saying? So it
Every single Borg on that Borg cube.
Yeah.
That's what shut it down, yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
cool, I
it
didn't
just
catch that.
yeah. So it was interesting, and it kind of like they give you little snippets of what happened, but you don't really know like why it drove them insane. You know, like it gave you snippets of like, oh, world's exploding and all this stuff, but like, why was it so overwhelming? Because we only get a little snippet of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that scene was very interesting. It was very telling. It put a little bit of an answer to some of the questions I had. But at the same time, it was a little bit like on the nose, you know, like with you know what I mean? Like it was just a little
I know
bit,
what you mean.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how I felt.
Michael?
Well, maybe it wasn't the like the vision itself, but just like the way it was transmitted to them. You know, like the power, like the alien floating table or something that caused them to go insane.
Yeah. The glowy circle.
I mean, it was a weird scene, but it did its job because it really makes me want to know what the hell's going on. So I guess in that way it did its job, but other than that, it was a little weird for me.
Let me point out that in that disjointed, explodey scene, we saw Data's face.
Yes.
So that's leading more weight to that credence to the theory that Noonien Singh discovered pre-existing androids rather than him having created them. However, once again, I ask, if Data and Lore were designed to look like Noonien Singh, why would they be in like an ancient memory?
Yeah.
Unless Noonien Singh was also an android all along.
Are they going to retcon Data's origin?
I wouldn't be shocked if they did.
Ooh, boy. This is kind of like what they're doing to almost too many things. They're making things more special than they need to be because they're already special. Like the Doctor Who reveal. So now we get...
Since Picard is special to us, now Picard is special in the world. I mean, more so than before. And
now
Data and...
Data was already special because he was like a singular thing, but now he's a chosen one from a super race that completes our
ancient
plot.
prophecy. Okie doke. Next. Right before the credits, we have that nice scene with Seven appearing. Of course, I'm happy to see Seven anytime. She's a joy, but I thought it was real funny when she pops up and then he just like, Elnor just hugs her immediately. He's like, I'm so glad to see you. You're a mom now.
He's such he's such an adorable character because he's so like innocent, and even though he like slashes people's heads off, he's still like a child. Like he doesn't understand the world, and it's just adorable. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Keith.
Oh, no problem. I was gonna say, like, there's a thing that I've been saying since I started watching Stargate, and it's like a trope that's in all like action shows, where it's a good thing the bad guys take prisoners.
Yeah.
But the good guys kill
good guys
on
don't.
sight. Like, all those people were trying to take Elnor alive, and he was killing them left and right. And like they went out of their way, they could have killed him. They wrestled him down, and then 79 walks in, not knowing the situation, and blazes all of them. And you're like, all right, okay, that's not what a good guy does. What's happening? So that was my problem with it. What do you guys
Michael,
think?
what do you think, Michael? I'm curious.
I thought that scene was great because, I mean, honestly, that's the reaction I would have if I saw 7 of 9 or Jerry Ren. I'd just run up and hug her and then I'd be arrested. But no, it's.
Oh my god.
I mean, it seemed a little, I don't know, forced is the word, or heavy-handed. It was just kind of, I mean, great. I love seeing her, but I don't know. It was just.
Yeah.
It was kind of,
Like they've met once for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They put on like a fight together. Then it turned out that she was lying to them and that she had different motives the whole time. She disappeared and now they're besties.
Well, and why couldn't she come a little sooner and save Hugh? Mother.
Just in the nick of time. 7 of
Because she
9.
had to be the only one who could activate the queen cell. Come on.
I know.
Plot reasons.
Plot reasons.
Plot reasons. Yeah, this is another episode that felt like it was written backwards to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could do a drinking game with how many times we say forced and on the nose.
Ooh. Yeah, we
Be
could.
wasted.
Yeah, actually,
I can't.
There's a line at the end that I was like, oh, that's straight up just the theme of the show. You just said it out loud. Okay.
Disclaimer: no drinking for me. I'll take shots of soda water though.
Yeah, I can't drink either.
Yep, I'm still in recovery from the stroke. So blah.
I'll call it bad anyway.
Try it.
Well,
let us know when you can.
I know.
And we'll send you a bottle of whiskey.
Well, I'll take it. Trust me. I want that Captain Kirk stuff, not the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's weird.
That Romulan ale.
Yeah, that's right. It's weird because I walk around like I'm buzzed all the time already. So it's like, what? This whole brain thing, man. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Stupid brains.
I think I was wrong with my prediction. I thought it was going to be Soji that took over the Borg cube, but it was the more obvious choice of 7 of 9.
Yep.
Still could happen, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's still not write out Soji taking over like all android life. Just not that particular cube.
Well, that cube is now liberated. So after that scene, which again we still need to come to that scene, but after that scene, Seven's like, "Well, this is our board. This is our ship now. You know, this is our cube now." So
I mean, we could just abandon all order and talk about whatever the heck you want. It's gonna be hard to go back through our notes later, but we can do it.
No, let's go. Yeah, let's go in succession. We're good.
All right. We're so happy to see 7, but it's a little weird. All right, next. Soji and Picard appear on the ship. It is that ship and not, unfortunately, the captain that they just mentioned once and had a text message, so I guess we'll never see that guy.
Yep.
You're right, Keith.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
it's gone.
Rio sees Soji, immediately freaks out and leaves.
Oh,
Nobody knows why.
can I go back real quick?
Yes, you can.
So that scene actually, it explained what the SOS was. It was Hugh's SOS for 7 of 9.
Yes.
Not Picard's. Because I was like, where did he get that SOS pin? You know what I mean? Like, like where did he get that? And then you kind of find out that it was Hugh's because she comes in and was like, "Where's Hugh?" So that answered that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
the place he was hiding out, I watched like a Easter egg video. The place he was hiding out was Hugh's office.
Good to know.
Somehow.
All right.
Okay, that explains why that was there. Okay.
Yeah.
So she left one with Hugh and with Picard. That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
if she's gonna be like the head of the Rangers, she's just gonna like give her calling card to her allies.
Well, and Hugh and Picard are both ex-Borg, so I mean, they're like her, so of course, like they would all be tight in that way. Like she would want to look out for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's Borg mom, as we see.
That's right.
Ooh.
Do Borg
Actually,
need to
that scene
breathe?
had in what?
Do Borg need to breathe?
No, they can survive in the vacuum of space. At least in First Contact, they did.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Well,
wait,
they
it's
can
in First Contact.
Well, they can survive, but the thing is, they still have organic material, which still freezes and still has issues. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what I'm to understand. Like the cybernetic side of them can survive, but the like organic side can't necessarily. So it's like a time limited thing, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
in First
I don't know.
Contact, they were just walking around though.
I know.
Yeah.
But
No,
if,
We'll
if
see
you
if
want,
she
if
just
you wanted to
closes
do
the
like,
cube around them again.
as I say,
Yeah.
if we wanted to do the work for the story, the Borg do have personal like force fields and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
And
they
when
do.
they're activated at this point in time, they're all like offline, and they probably wouldn't have activated their force fields and whatever
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
support they might have had.
But if
Yeah.
she had time to activate some of them before they all got spaced, then some of them might still be out there
Yeah.
alive.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Anyway.
a feeling that they're gonna, now that they've been spaced, we're just gonna forget about them soon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking too. That's
It'll
a
take
bummer.
away from the dramatic moment.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Single tier.
Are we still? What scene are we on right now?
Okay, so
Oh,
Picard
Rios.
comes onto the ship with Soji. Rio sees Soji and freaks out and leaves. And then Rafi just gets mad and she's like, "Have you brought another homicidal double agent onto the ship?" As if like, oh boy.
I'm gonna kill this person right away.
Rafi, chill out. And then Picard says to Soji, "You have no choice but to trust me," which I find particularly like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Don't say it like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was
I
a weird
know.
line to say.
Agreed. It was.
But yeah, everybody's acting weird because they always do in this show. Why isn't anybody like on the spot? People should have been like, "Whoa, Rios, what's going on?" Is like
Yeah.
there's a gap in this ship, and we probably should figure out why you're freaking out like this. Oh, we'll just go let him go. All right.
Just vanishes.
Yep.
I mean, that's how we do it on the ship. We just let everybody leave. No, wait, no. We don't do that to Agnes. Wait, but hold on. But wait. Wait,
But
Rios
Agnes
is the one
was-
being everyone's dad. So if Rios is the one freaking out, then nobody's being Rios' dad until
Yeah.
Rafi, wait, hold on.
But it
This is where my "why is everybody so inconsistent" note came in.
Yeah. Well, but this did, explain why Rios is Rios. Like he's damaged and he's broken, but he's also very,
Yeah, we finally learned about why he left Starfleet.
yeah, and just why he is the way he is, because he has, I can't think of the word right now, but he's very
Trauma?
Well, he's trauma, but he's also like Picard, like he has, what's the word? Where they're good people, like they're good-hearted.
Morality?
Yeah, like he's a good
Gravitas?
person. Like he comes off as this bad boy, but then, like genuinely, like even
But he's been dad, though.
yeah. But yeah, it's just his character arc has been pretty interesting to me, because you expect him to be this like nonchalant bad boy, but then he's this genuine person that genuinely cares, and walks around with his shirt off and has relations with the double agent, but
He has his guard up except when he doesn't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was interesting just kind of understanding like the tie-in between Soji and him, which is again a little on the nose, because out of the entire Federation, the entire universe, like Picard gets a captain that's met one of
Yep.
them already, which is again little on the nose. Let's take a shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out of all of these
Shots,
captains they
shots,
could have
shots,
found
shots.
through all their connections of all of space, that's all of Starfleet.
It's the
This is
only
the one.
person. Not only is he the only one that was... It's not just that he was on the right ship. He was also the only one who knew why his captain did what he did.
Yeah. So again, it was to push the story forward, which is pretty right on the nose, which is, that's what you do with 10 episodes in a season. So
Does
Yeah.
it?
Backwards, yeah.
Does it push the story forward, or does it just? It doesn't really change anything. Like now we just know that he has.
He has personal stakes
back-
in it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you also know what happened to his captain and why he's broken. So it developed his story, but again, it was a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't want the character's entire story to be to feed this plot in particular. Like you should
Yeah.
have, like, at least Rafi has a son, but
Yeah. even though she'll get to tell her son at the end of all this, see, I was right. Which,
Yeah.
you know what
If
I'm
she
saying?
survives.
That's,
In your
you know what I'm
face.
saying? That's which again, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I love how she's like, a Romulan inside plot, huh? Like she's like, huh? I was onto something. That's a nice ring to it.
knew it.
Yeah.
Romulans.
Yeah. So I mean, it is a little bit where you can kind of guess what's coming. Like it's
Yeah.
predictable, but I still love it. It's still a great show,
Yeah.
So it's still my Picard. I'm not giving up on it.
I'm right there with you, Jay. I'm right there with you.
Could you be a little more detailed?
No. Yeah. I'm sorry. What was the question?
We're just talking about that scene.
Oh. I don't know. I
What
think.
is the deal with Rios?
Yeah, I thought it was when I was watching with a friend of mine, and he like stood back and was like, "What's going on?" Looking at Soji. Yeah, I was surprised that nobody said, "Hey, what the hell's going on? Why did you freak out when you saw her?" But they just kind of went over that and said, "Hey, contact DS-12 and everything." And again, with when Picard was telling her, you have no other reason to, or no other excuse.
You have no choice but to trust me.
To trust me, yeah. I mean, if I was Soji, I would have like punched him in the throat, I think. But
yeah,
it's like,
excuse me.
Yeah, it seemed kind of abrasive. It's like, I know you're Picard and we love you, but it's like, give me some other reason besides just that.
Particularly after they had, we're just coming off the episode where he's with Dana and Riker, and they have this whole conversation about why it's difficult for Soji to trust anybody, and then he's just immediately like, "Well, you don't have a choice anyway. Haha, fuck you."
I would have loved it if he actually said that.
Yeah.
Yikes. Speaking of swearing on Star Trek, the next scene is actually the Clancy report. So we see Admiral Clancy again, and once again she shuts him down, but she gives him what he wants this time.
Yeah.
Spamming the fuck word. I think that's part of her. I think that's almost part of her meme character now.
It definitely
shock
is.
us with that word.
We're pay to watch, so I'm going to make sure I drop the F-bomb all the time.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't bother me,
I
actually.
kind of understand. Yeah, I kind of understand with this character because almost everybody I know that's in the military is like, yeah, we swear constantly, all the time, at each other.
Yeah.
So, that maybe it doesn't bother me. It's just like, I feel bad for this actress. The only time she gets to do anything is just like to be like, I'm abrasive, but also you can or cannot have this thing.
But she plays it so well.
She does.
She's so good at it. It's like, yeah, I'm with her. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
Picard, stop lecturing me. I've already decided to give you the thing that you want. Jesus, just shut up and listen for a sec.
I love that I love that he high fives himself at the end, like, yeah.
I still got it.
See what it looks like when Picard gloats. But I need to go back to the previous scene where I need to figure out something. The Soji that Rios met, was it one of the twins that we do know of, or are we saying there's lots of? Yeah, are we saying there are lots of copies of her?
I think it's copies.
Suggested.
Yeah. Hey, you know what though? Considering that she doesn't exist prior to like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
She could just have been reprogrammed.
That's true.
If you think about it, there could just be two of them, and they could be reprogrammed for different purposes because they're androids. You know what I'm saying?
That is, that's certainly one of the possibilities. That kind
of like the Terminator
of her stuff that's 3 years old is just like her new
persona,
her new identity.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not known for sure whether or not she was Jana or if there's just other copies.
Yeah, the only thing that we know for sure is that she described Jana and Beautiful Flower as being her brother and sister.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, like, for all we know, it could be Daj instead. You know that could have been Daj.
Thought about? Do you remember her dream where there were the flowers?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful flowers.
So, like, for all we know, it could be Daj instead. Beautiful flowers. Nice.
Thought about? Do you remember her dream?
Well done, Jay.
Points for you.
Nice.
Oh,
Well done.
I'll take it.
So, like, for all we know, it could be Daj instead. Beautiful flowers. Nice. You should, because there's no way those orchids were done, Jay.
Points for you.
We didn't know what they were. So, yeah, if his name is Beautiful Flower, yeah, there you go. It could be Daj instead. Nice. You should, because there's no way those orchids were done, Jay.
Points for you.
We didn't know what they were. So, yeah, if his name is Beautiful Flower, yeah, there you go.
And I gotta just off the side.
You should, because there's no way those orchids were done, Jay.
Points for you.
We didn't know what they were. So, yeah, if his name is Beautiful Flower, yeah, there you go.
And I gotta just off the side.
You should, because there's no way those orchids were done, Jay.
Points for you.
We didn't know what they were. So, yeah, if his name is Beautiful Flower, yeah, there you go.
And I gotta just off the side.
See, that's well, because there's no way those orchids were done, Jay. We didn't know what they were. So, yeah, if his name is Beautiful Flower, yeah, there you go. Yes. Good detail. See, that's
DS12 looks like.
Me too. Yeah.
It looks
Like the
exactly
first-
like DS9, even though
Well,
DS9
no.
was a
Cardassian.
Cardassian building.
That's the thought process. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be
Me too,
DS9
yeah.
redesign. Wait,
It
no,
looks
like,
exactly like DS9, even though
Well,
DS9
no.
was a
Cardassian.
Cardassian building.
Torak Nor.
Well, sorry, Keith, we're not going there.
We're not going anyway. It doesn't matter.
Fine.
Well, it has to be more recent than DS9 then.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. What do we
Torak
got?
Nor.
Well, sorry, Keith, we're not going there.
We're not going anywhere. It
It
doesn't
was
matter.
funny because she's looking around. Rafi is looking around.
Well,
looking
it
for
has to be
Rios,
more recent
and she
than
starts
DS9
having a
then.
conversation with one of the holograms. I think it's
Anyway,
that's the navigation
let's see,
one.
what do
She
we
starts
got?
having a conversation with one of the
Whoops.
holograms.
Just walk around.
Sorry.
We're not going anywhere. It
It was
doesn't
funny because she's looking around. Yeah, she's like, I'm so used to doing
Well, it has to be more recent
She
than
starts having a
DS9.
conversation with one of the holograms. I think it's.
So maybe that's normal for him.
I do that at home, so yeah.
I mean,
That's does she? How well do they
know?
know? She starts having a conversation
Like,
with
one of
they
the
either
holograms,
know
then
each
like
other really well
eventually
or not at
realize
all. I
it's
mean,
not
why
him,
was
and I'm
he-
like, they have totally different accents, girl. What are you doing?
I know. No. Well, it makes you think.
I mean,
Does she? How well do they know?
She starts having a conversation
Like,
with one of
they
the
either
holograms,
know
then
each
like
other really well
eventually
or not at
realize
all. I
it's
mean,
not
why
him,
was
and
he
I'm like,
like-
they have totally different accents.
I
mean,
dump too early.
Like him.
Okay. Where are we up to?
I
mean-
do we talk about the father-daughter moment?
Okay. And we're on
Analog
page one.
paper.
Yeah. Do you like my notes?
I do.
Hear the trees crying.
Like a 300-page book each episode.
It's only 4 pages. Come on, you guys. Okay, what's next? Narissa finds her dead people. She's very unhappy. Given it,
yeah.
and then like she has that struggle with the that is later
Yeah.
the cult
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note, Keith, in particular, you and me, just the Borg nanites. It's just like
Birds.
so Stargate. They look like the
Birds.
little gate, and I was like, okay, okay, that's cute. Except they're glowing
Yeah,
green.
the trees crying.
Like a 300-page
The worker bees, yeah.
So cool.
I called them
It's only
bug
4 pages. Come on,
boards.
you guys.
Bergs.
Okay, what's next? Narissa finds her
Whatever,
dead
Borg
people.
nanites.
She's very unhappy. She finds 7 of 9's
Oh, I was
comms,
gonna
so
say
she knows
that
that.
she did the kind
Seven
of
lines
speech
there.
that
They
They
Galadriel
go. They go. I just had to laugh
like,
because she says,
don't
"I can
give me the One Ring,
explain."
and
Or I
don't give
can
me
steal
the
what's cute.
Borg,
And I'm like, I don't know what's
also
stopping you
love
from
me in
explaining it while you're
despair.
stealing it. You could do both.
She has to focus.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's like, I
But
can't
yeah,
talk
what do you guys
and do
think
this at
about
the same time.
bugs that fix
Okay,
the
fair
ship
enough. I
versus
mean,
the
of
morphing
all the
that,
people, I feel like 7 of 9 is the
used
one
to?
best equipped to be doing multiple tasks at
Where they
once.
say, there's no time to explain. And in that time, they just
I
said,
did appreciate that she had that concern about like taking away the individuality of the
One
people who
series
had
had,
been
worker bees have been around. I just
given
don't
it,
know.
and then like she has that struggle with
Explain that they didn't.
that is later
use those on a board.
the cult
You know what I'm
thing.
Yeah.
But on a
Yeah,
lighter
we've
note,
seen Borg
Keith,
cubes repair themselves.
in particular, you and me,
They
just
just
the
morph.
Borg nanites.
Now
Maybe
they
it's just
have-
like the damage was too
Birds.
So Stargate,
Yeah.
they look like the
Birds.
little
That
bugs
way.
from Stargate.
Or that one didn't get the upgrade yet.
It's only
bug
4 pages.
boards, bergs.
Okay, what's next?
Like,
Narissa finds her
I don't wanna do it.
her dead
Borg
people. She's
nanites.
very unhappy. She finds 7 of 9's
Oh, I was gonna
comms.
say
She
that
knows that.
she did the kind
Seven
of
lines
speech
there.
that
They
Galadriel
go. I just had to laugh
Yeah.
because she
Yeah,
says,
it is
"I can
pretty cool.
explain."
I'm
and
Or I
don't give
can
me
steal
I-
what's
I-
for.
I'm
I'm like,
definitely
I don't know what's
also
stopping you
love
from
me in
explaining it while you're
despair.
stealing.
side, and I understand.
She's like, I can't
But yeah,
talk
what do you guys
having
think
this
about
the same
bugs that
visual-
fix
Okay, fair
the
enough.
ship
I mean,
versus
of
morphing?
all the people, I feel like 7 of 9 is the one
Our
best
technology
equipped to be
advanced
doing multiple tasks at
Where they
once.
say,
tremendously in 20
there's no time to
years.
explain.
Have way
And
more
in that
ideas
time, they
about
just
what
said,
I did appreciate that
look like
she had
I'm not really upset
that
about them
concern about
not
like
having to
taking
do
away the
the same
individuality of the
so
people
much,
who had been
but
Worker bees have been around. I just
given
don't
it.
I did
and
like
then,
that the Borg
like she has that
character
struggle with
explain that
whatever. It's a matter of taste.
that is later
Yeah.
the cult.
I mean, it's a matter of taste on everything, but
But on a
Yeah,
lighter
we've
note,
seen Borg
Keith,
cubes repair themselves.
in particular, you and me,
They
just
just
the
morph.
Borg nanites.
Now
maybe
they
it's
have
just like the damage was so
From
serious.
Stargate.
Yeah.
They look like the little bugs from Stargate.
Or that one didn't get the upgrade yet.
Birds.
Okay, what's next? Marissa finds her dead people. She's very unhappy. She finds 7 of 9's comms.
She did the kind of speech that
They go. I just had to laugh because she says, "I can explain."
I'm
and
Or I
don't
can
give me
steal
the
what's
Borg.
for.
I'm definitely-
I don't know what's stopping you from
in
explaining while you're
despair.
stealing.
and I understand.
She's like, I can't
Yeah,
talk
we talked
having this
about
the same
bugs
time.
We talked about
that
that.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, of all the people, I feel like 7
Oh,
of 9
yeah,
is
here
the
we
one
are. She
best
said it.
equipped to be
She
doing
said it.
multiple tasks at
Where they
once.
say, sure, but-
Are you talking about when? So are we at the point yet where she has the tubes in her back and
I
her
did
eyes
like
turn
now.
green?
You know, like she has that
Okay,
struggle with
I gotta wait. Sorry.
Whatever, it's a matter of taste.
that is the
I mean, it's a matter of taste on everything. But
I
you're
never
right.
seen Keith.
No, what we're actually at is Soji's Picard.
Borg that night.
Maybe it's just the same
They
shocking
look
fact.
like the little bugs from Star
Or that one
Trek.
didn't get the upgrade yet.
Okay, what's next? Marissa finds her dead man. I'm very unhappy. She finds something else.
I think wasn't it? Was she was saying?
She doesn't
Yeah.
know what's
I feel like
what she
real.
really likes and
Yeah.
what's an implanted memory of her liking it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thought.
Which, if you have a memory that's pretty fleshed out and you can't tell it's fake, then you already have a personality that should know what it likes, I guess. I don't know. I'm being picky and mean at this show.
I am being picky, but I'm always picky. Okay,
Oh, we know. We expect it.
yeah,
Just,
good.
yeah. Do sci-fi right. And, yeah, like, yeah, she can't tell if she likes something or if she does, but she should know if she likes something. And sometimes she doesn't.
It's like eat it and then decide. Not that she actually eats that fries and ice cream, but eating on TV shows. Anyway, forget that. That's a different thing entirely. Okay, but this is the scene where they talk about Data, so let's talk about that.
That was such a sweet scene.
Mm-hmm.
And like her last line, oh, tear to
He
my
loved
eye.
you.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, like it just gave me all the feels.
I kind of teared up. I was cutting
Yeah.
onions at the time, but
You were cutting onions. I thought that's the scene you guys were talking about. when
That
you
was the
said
scene I was talking
one of
about.
the scenes made you really
No,
happy.
nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it, Michael?
Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I've always been a fan. Data's been my favorite on TNG. So, and then
Yeah, understandable.
and then Picard as well. But so I know I really did tear up at that scene. And then I think I posted in the Discord, and we can link it later, about the edit somebody did with like scenes of Data and Picard together. And I'm like, that really made the onions come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that last.
Fan mixes.
Yeah, I love that last part where Soji is like, he did love you, which, either she was just saying that or she knows it because, Data's a part of her. But I just thought it was a really touching scene and well done by Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. I wrote down this quote from him. He says, Data's ability for processing and exhibiting emotions was limited. We had that in common.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah. Or when he said he loved him, in his own way. And I don't know, it was just, I love that scene.
Yeah.
I love the part where he says he made us laugh except when he tried.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That was a thing. That was a
Damn it,
man.
Picard, you're making me cry.
Data's so bad at jokes. Just so bad. That was a great episode too, Data trying to like, hey, why isn't this joke working? Doing that thing with his hands all the time. Like, this
Oh,
is
yeah,
how
and
you
then,
tell
like,
a joke,
the-
right?
You're kind of like the jazz hands
AI of the
almost.
holodeck.
Yeah.
You guys
AI of
can't
the
see me
holodeck
making
doesn't
it,
know
but-
what humor is because it just laughs no matter what he said.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the
Yeah.
deal with transporters? Come on.
See, that's the
It was-
problem. You can't get episodes like that when you're doing Serial.
No.
Just like an entire episode dedicated to Data just not understanding how to tell a good joke. Like,
Or learning to
that's
dance.
genius. Or learning to dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun, complete B stories.
Yeah, like, or even the EMH, singing fucking opera. That never would have happened on a Serial show. Just chaos. Anyway. I just miss episodic. It's fine. Can we get both?
Yeah.
Can we have series that are serial and some series that are episodic? I want both. We need both.
Well, it just so happens there's a show that is kind
Okay.
of like that. What? Oh, okay.
We're not
Okay.
talking about the Orville right now. The next part is the engineering person is Scottish and his name is Ian. Adorable.
Yep.
Okay, we talked about that.
Yep.
Something. I wrote you have to build an oxygen system. I mean, true, but it turns out that I'm not right. Thanks, Keith. Not true. I said it's showing off of not nature's to leave a warning. Just like, this won't happen in nature, so you guys will come explore it, right? Right. Yeah, that felt weird. Oh, here's a weird line. Rio says that Soji locked... No, it's not that. Somebody locked themselves out of the override. Oh, it was Rafi for the alcohol. She locked herself out of the override and the meta override. What?
like
What is
that.
a meta? What?
Okay.
So you can't unlock yourself.
Well, the way that I read it, because you know how in like Windows there's
Yes, IT, sir.
administrator-
Please explain
yeah.
this.
So there's you can have permissions that are like the user permissions, and then permissions that are like the admin/God mode permissions. Do you see what I'm
Okay,
saying? So I read into that as the IT person as, hey, she just didn't cut herself off at the user level. She went to like the root, like God mode level, and basically was like, nope, there's no override. Because there are like, just at my work,
Master overrides,
correct.
yeah.
Because at my work, every user has their own admin name and password on their systems, but I have like a master name and password that can override everything. Because I
Like a
can
domain
basically-
admin.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right. And I can go in and basically fix whatever they break. You know, so
I guess my
it's-
question
yeah.
here is,
Yeah.
why does Rafi have access to the meta override on a ship that's not hers?
Because her and Rafi are tight. Or are they?
Rios.
Or Rios. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Her and
they're tight,
herself.
or are they?
Her and
Who
herself.
knows?
Yeah, whatever. Sorry. Stroke brain. I apologize.
Yeah, I can see.
I'm going to use that excuse
her
like
saying,
all the time
Rios,
now.
Rios, alcohol hurt me. I need stop.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. And then
Yeah.
there you go.
And then she goes, never mind, I want alcohol again. And he's like, nah.
Well, here's the
sorry.
thing.
Nope.
He did take away the bottle from her room, if you recall that one episode. So I mean,
I do
he's
recall
like
it.
he probably is aware, and he, like yeah, it makes sense that he did that for her own good.
You know, I think we should just cover the Rafi and Rios thing all together. Just I don't care if they're not in order. Let's do the whole thing. So she goes to every single hologram looking for him. And then she finally goes to his room, which I don't know why you didn't look for him there in the first place. He says, piss off. She's like, all right, bye. Immediately pisses off. We'll talk about him later. She immediately pisses off and then just goes to find the holograms of him instead. And then they have this very lovely scene where she talks to all the holograms, except it's funny because it's like, it's a really comedic scene, even though they're talking about like some serious stuff. And I'm just like tonally not sure what's going on here.
Yeah.
It was a fun comedy scene. I'm just not sure if it fit with the rest of the episode. But anyway,
it
let's
was
talk
like
about that.
they were excited about like he's like, I like doing all these characters. I got all these accents. Let's do all these accents. Oh, look at it. We'll make a scene out of it. And there you go.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole episode, it didn't feel like it quite fit. It was kind of jumbled, but
The whole episode didn't feel like it fit, or you mean that? scene
well,
didn't feel
like in like the whole episode, that scene just kind of didn't seem like it fit. It was just kind of
Yeah.
out of order or something. I don't know. Just it was kind of all over the place, I thought.
Jay?
Sorry, I brain farted. What are we talking about?
That's cool. Just talking about Rafi and her experience running around to all the different holograms, trying to figure out what's going on with.
Oh
Rios.
yeah, I actually one thing I liked, and it was just the effect where their eyes when they glowed blue when they're thinking. Like
that is cool.
That's a super cool effect, and when they all did it at the same time was actually really cool.
Yeah.
But it would make sense that he would go in and kind of delete specific files that were traumatic for him, so they didn't come up. So it makes sense that he didn't want them to know, but he wouldn't necessarily know since they're computers, or since they're holograms. He wouldn't know what might still be there. So it makes sense that they all have little snippets, but then they don't have the big picture.
Yeah,
It was very interesting.
I also like how in deleting the files that were like personal data, he accidentally deleted like other stuff randomly.
Yeah,
Like
I don't.
that just speaks to like the massive root files just being like, why were those two connected? Like the
Exactly.
what temperature you should serve this tea as? I don't know, man. The programmer did a weird thing. It happens
I
sometimes.
know. It's so
that
funny.
speaks really truly to like how bizarre technology can like mess up sometimes. It was adorable.
I know.
Michael?
No, I like the scene. I did have a problem with Raffi at the end when I guess it was the Scottish guy. He was talking, and then at the end she's like, "Well, that's not even a language," kind of insulting him. I don't know. That seemed kind of.
That's not even the right language. Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
didn't.
said something very
I didn't really care
Scottish.
for that myself, but other than that, I like the
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
I actually wrote that down too.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not even the language. It is.
yeah, it actually is.
I mean, it is. It is.
You just can't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keith?
I guess I kind of went all the way dork on it, where I was like thinking, if you're gonna have like this, if you're gonna go all the way with holograms and how they manage your ship, that they wouldn't need to take human form. You could just have like shapes kind of float around the edges of your ship and like move things and ratchet things, and
Doesn't even
instead
need
of,
to be
like-
shapes. I mean, like the navigational computer should be able to just do its job.
yeah, it probably should.
Or they? I mean, they could all look
That
like
might
7
be-
of 9. I mean, it's whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, he did use that self scan, you know.
But yeah, that's what I was going with it. I was thinking, it's very cool, and it seems like he's having a blast, like having like all these different characters. But hey, what if we went further and just like geometric shapes right on the ship that like do the things you need? But other than that, it was fun to see them untangle the mystery between the holograms, and it looked like they were having fun. So I can see why they did it.
It was kind of weird though, because she spends all this time untangling the truth with the holograms, but like, you could have just asked him. I mean, he does,
Yeah.
and then he just tells us anyway. So,
And having that strong reaction to like someone that important on their ship, like at the moment, everybody should have been, whoa, Rios, what's going on?
yeah,
It seems kind of important.
Yeah, family meeting.
I feel like Picard kind of ignores when the people on his crew are in distress. Because he's like too
does he, though?
concerned with Soji. He doesn't pay attention to Rios there. He's just like, hey, send us to DS-12. He didn't pay attention to Rafi when she like walked off depressed because she had just ruined her relationship with the Admiral. Like, why?
Well, I mean, it's Picard though, so he's really infallible. No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe yeah. I don't know if it was just bad writing, or maybe he was just more concerned with the the greater good and saving the universe and stuff. I don't know. It's hard for me to critique Picard. I'm sorry. the guy.
That's fine.
I'm with
Then let's
Jay.
talk
I love
about-
him.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, yeah.
I agree with you though that he should have shown more concern for his crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, real human interaction versus like when it's like what does the plot need him to focus on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where his brain and conversations go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Rios's backstory. I assume he just was an orphan. In any case, he didn't have a father, so he liked to think of his captain as dad, Captain Vandermeer. Very sweet.
The old man.
The old man, my old man, which is a weird thing to say to another captain, but I mean it's fine. So there's that. His captain he thought of him as dad. Detail. I like when they showed us his room. He just has all these little mermaid figurines. What a nerd.
Wait, what figurines?
He has mermaid figurines. He has books and mermaid figurines. I was like, it kind of felt like a TOS reference, actually.
That's like my room. No, gee.
You have mermaids in your room, huh?
Hey,
Maybe.
we've seen photos. We know.
No, but it's cute. Listen, he has mermaid figurines, and his ship is named La Sirena. It's adorable.
I know.
Are La Serena's mermaids?
It's the siren. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Come on, you guys.
I knew that.
I definitely didn't see it.
Okay, well, La Sirena is the siren, a mermaid, and he has mermaids everywhere. Anyway, so he looks through his stuff. I thought here that like they were gonna be like that's why he left Starfleet, but actually he got kicked out of Starfleet because of PTSD, which, I mean, I guess. I find it weird that everybody's getting kicked out of Starfleet rather like Picard leaves willingly, but like Rafi got kicked out for that reason that we never quite figured out, and I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, backstory. Yeah, sorry, I'm just rambling again. Jay, how do you feel?
What about Raffi and his backstory? So it's really
Rios.
God, why do I keep doing that?
keep-
I'm having a rough
They're
day today, you guys.
Easily mixed.
Yeah.
Though. Those names are easily mixed.
I'm having a rough day.
Well, they're both sexy, so come on. It's like, well,
It was so again, there's closure to his backstory, which is cool. Like we understand now why he feels the way he feels, and we get the backstory of him and his captain and everything. But it's Yeah, it's just one of those things where I wish that they had enough time to actually like do you remember when they used to do flashbacks
Yeah.
to help move stories along? There's just not enough time now. But I mean, wouldn't it be cool if we had a flashback of him on that ship with his captain? You know what I mean? Like, and showing the camaraderie and showing why he looked up to him and why he considered him the old man and why he was his mentor. You know what I mean? Like, all we're getting is like the words and the story, but we're not really getting any of the substance. You know
we're
what I'm
getting the
saying?
cliff
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah. I mean, it was great again to move the story forward and to let us understand Rios a little more. So, I got it right that time.
Yeah.
Understand him a little more. You know, again, and why he's so broken and damaged, but also why he has such why he's such a like a good person and you know genuine. So the scene was it was sweet to see Raffi talking to him and like trying to see what's going on, and it kind of also makes you wonder, okay, if they've been so tight for so long, or have they, but why hadn't she heard this yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, why Soji showing up is what sets him off to talk about something that he should have obviously been talking about previously, because
She looks like Janet, but yeah.
yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, but why use that now in the story when he could have, like, when you go through trauma, it's
For the plot, Jay.
Well, no, I know.
Come
but it's
on,
like,
get on board.
this whole mental health awareness thing. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
if you need, like, that's why people off themselves. So it's like like that's like suicide awareness and like mental health awareness, and that's kind of a big deal. So the fact that he hadn't talked about it, and again, someone who has personally gone through family members that have done that, it just kind of is like red flags. Like, hey, wait a minute, like this guy should have been talking about this stuff a long time ago. I understand that it's part of his character and why he's broken and damaged and why he is the way he is, but at the core of it, like, that's mental health, and that's like suicide awareness, and he needed to have talked to someone about that way before this.
Yeah,
but
I do have
yeah.
concerns about. I feel like suicide was treated kind of cavalierly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Episode.
Agreed. And that's, I mean, again, with the story and Jana and the whole thing like being too much for him to handle, and the fact that Rios was like laying into him when he did it would make Rios feel responsible, but at the same time, I love how Picard is like, no, Starfleet failed you, Starfleet failed everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
But it wasn't Starfleet; it was Commander O specifically.
exactly. Yeah, and that's just it. It's unfortunate because it's like a little minute detail that should be so much more. There should be so much more substance to it, and why mental health should be talked about more. Because they had an opportunity to really bring out that subject and to really hone in on it. But again, it's 10 episodes. Like, what are they going to do? And that's the thing that sucks. I say this every week, but that's the thing that sucks about this whole like binge culture and 10 episode thing. Like, no, give me full year seasons, 26 episodes, whatever, you know, to where they can really have these stories and have like the God, I'm really bad at words today. You know,
The ability to
yeah.
like shape relationships.
And the substance, like there's no substance. There's just story, but no substance to it. And it's like they can't.
There's a lot of telling, not showing.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Have an
I mean,
actual like character arc in the show.
Yeah, I know that scene. I mean, it was a sweet scene to see Raffi and Rios, you know, talking about it and stuff. But there's so much that could have been pulled from that. Just that one episode, not episode, but that one episode in his life, as far as like his captain, suicide, mental health awareness, and stuff that could just have spoken to so many people.
Yeah,
and it was just a little minute side note. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, sorry, that's how I feel.
Good. I mean, like, I want to know how you feel. That's why we're here.
I know. I know.
And I completely agree with you. And the thing that you said about, like, once upon a time we would have had the flashback and then we would have been able to see the camaraderie.
Yeah.
That's what I'm missing straight up, like, not even from his relationship with the captain, but from them just on the ship.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Agnes says, like, it's like the first time that I've had a crew, and I'm like, how? You've slept with Rios, but aside from that, I can't think of like, oh, I guess Raffi gave you cake that one time, but aside from those two things, I can't think of a time when you actually spent time together as a crew and like got to know each other.
Yeah, I know.
It's all off camera.
Yeah.
There are adventures happening in between episodes we don't get to see.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but I mean, the time zone, the timeline doesn't work out. That there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we're back on this. I'll say again, like, I hate that Rios's backstory is connected to exactly the story they're doing. Like, that is a small universe.
Yeah,
when
that-
you have anything happen to a
Yeah.
Starfleet officer,
Yeah.
we're going right there.
Yeah.
All of his background is just specific to what's going on right now.
Well, yeah, and I agree with Jay. I mean, they handled it too quickly. I mean, they told the story, but I felt no like emotional attachment to it.
Emotional.
I mean, it was just kind of, oh, here's what happened to me. Let's move on, just to progress the story. So,
Yeah.
again, I don't.
Yeah, this
I don't-
total tragedy in my past is, a clue to this android's real past.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute conversation. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I like substance. I like things when I watch shows. I like to be pulled into them to where I have this thing where when I watch a show that I'm really into, and this happened specifically on TNG, like every episode, where I just like the world, the outside world, just turns off, and I'm sucked into the story and the substance. You know what I mean? And I find more and more that less shows are doing that for me. You know, like it's just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the ability to really have me tune out everything else and be a part of that world. And that's
Yeah.
what's so cool about TNG is that was when I was watching it, I was in that world. Like I tuned everything out. Like I was in it, you know, and that just doesn't happen anymore. It makes me sad.
Well, and
Everything kind of has a breakneck pace.
yeah. I mean, as much as I love the space battles and the Defiant going in and shooting up ships, my favorite scenes, especially of TNG, were the captain, giving his quote unquote famous speeches and him interacting with Data. I mean, that where you actually had some substance. Those were my
Yeah.
favorite scenes.
Absolutely. I do think that we're starting to see Picard show little pieces of old Picard more and more. Like now
Yeah.
he's essentially gotten permission from Deanna and Will. I think he's starting more and more to be the genuine Picard that we remembered. Like he's starting to let that kind of wall down a little at a time.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited to see because that's what I'm here for, you know?
What's going on in the background
I
here?
know.
I think someone is getting a pizza, and yeah, it requires
Close your windows.
conversation to hit my mic.
So you're bringing that over for all of us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a element that I cannot calculate for. My desk is in the living room.
I just want in like the very last scene, Picard to be like, "This far, no farther," and then that fades to black or something.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. We kind of talked about it already, but then the next scene is actually going back to 7 of 9 on the Borg cube when they have the whole conversation about like, are you going to reassimilate them? Reassimilate them? You mean enslave them? She's like, well, just release them after. And she's like, well, they might not want to be released, and I might not want to release them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I love how at the end he's like, are you going to assimilate me?
Yeah.
Uh,
You guys go first because I got a couple of things to say.
all right.
about
Well,
this. Keith.
go ahead, Keith.
Oh,
Sorry.
Jay.
No.
Jay, you can go.
I've been waiting for this scene.
Jay, if you got something, Jay, go
I've
for
been
it.
waiting for this scene. So all I gotta say is I squealed when she said we are Borg, and her eyes turned green. Oh, and you know
Yeah, that
that's
did look
Sabrina.
dope.
Yeah, like that was, oh man, and it was that scene was just dope in general because she, here she is basically with like the tentacles coming out of her back, and it's you could see that she was hesitant to undergo kind of what was going on, but then she started seeing the lights go out, like they were killing the Borg, and she was just like, "Oh, here's what we're gonna do.
I'm taking over."
Yeah,
Yep.
and which is such a real thing to do because it's kind of like Picard fighting for the synths. They're still lives, like those are still lives. You know what I mean? They're Borg and they're terrifying to everyone that's not a Borg, but those are lives. Like Seven's like, no, I'm gonna do this because I don't want them to die.
That's the only way to save them.
Yeah, so she basically does it, turns into the controller of that cube activates everyone, and then just it zooms into her eyes turning green, and she just goes, "We are Borg." And I lost my shit. I was like, "Oh my god, she said it!" You know, because
Jay, you're such a Borg fan,
oh,
girl.
you know it. I love it.
I heard you squeal from here, Jay.
Yeah, I know you did. All the way in
Like,
Colorado.
We are Borg.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, Jay.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, Sabrina knows. Like, my old
Yeah.
username was Jayers of Borg. Like, I've been Borg are my thing. I love the Borg. I have a Borg cube computer. That's what I have. I have a Borg.
It's
cube
really
computer.
dope.
Yeah. So I love the Borg. You know. So when she said that and it was in the voice, you know, the collective and all this stuff, I lost it. I was like, oh my god. But it was also really interesting to see the you know, just back to the serious stuff, to see the kind of how uncertain she was. She was uncertain about doing it because she'd been individual for so long that she was like, I might not want to give it up. And then at the end, when he was like, "Are you going to assimilate me?" and she's like, "No, Annika has more work to do." That was like, to call her as her individual name just goes to show the strength of Seven being able to like no, like this
Pull herself out.
exactly.
Yeah. So that was the Borg saying Annika has more work to do, right?
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
was the
and then they
collective.
release her.
Yeah,
Okay,
'cause she
yeah.
was the collective. You know, she basically, and mind you, it was only the collective on that ship, and all of them essentially got sucked out into space. But we don't really know who was left on the cube by the end of that scene. You know, but there were like, if you think about it, there had to have been others. You know, so you know, they're their own little collective on that cube, and it was a really like cool kind of badass scene because, you know, yes, we are Borg. She takes over the cube. All the Romulans leave, and she basically at the end is like, "All right, we got a cube now." So if you think about it, her and the adorable guy. God, I'm so bad with names and words today.
Eleanor,
yes.
yeah.
They have a Borg cube that can go assist Picard. Are you kidding me? Like how ridiculous is that?
They pulled that right out of your fandom head.
Yeah,
Jay.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, I'm so in. I'm like, dude,
Right.
I'm in.
Calm down, Jay.
Sorry, I can't help myself. I know.
Deep breaths, deep breaths.
Go, man, go.
Okay,
Go,
okay.
man, go.
All right, you can go next. Sorry.
All right. Keep.
Maybe we should have saved him for last because I'm just saying, yeah,
You're
it's
just
cool.
into it? All right.
It's like, how do we follow that?
Yeah, it was nice.
No, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
709 was one of my favorite characters on Voyager, along with
For good reason, yeah.
well, various reasons, yeah, and along with the EMH, the Doctor. So it was kind of cool seeing her be a badass again, like in the previous episode. But yeah, I imagine like her coming at the end, kind of saving the day, like Han Solo would be kind of cool. Yeah, I think that was Jay's squeal moment, and mine was obviously when Picard said engage towards like one of the earlier episodes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jay has stroke brain. I have Parkinson's brain right now, so
You both squealed
Yeah.
when that happened.
yeah.
Engage. Oh, was it me now?
Oh, one small problem I had, and it's just like a thing that I posted online that the Star Trek Picard has a 100% like black male mortality rate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
like
does.
now it's kind of become a joke for me. Like when they appear on screen, I'm like, how long is this guy gonna last? There he goes.
Yeah, because it's been like Soji's boyfriend, Daja's boyfriend,
Yeah.
and then the Romulan second in command.
And then there's that guy who's just like, talking smack to Picard and he got his head cut off.
That's the
Yeah,
And
that's
then
right,
there's
that's
one
right.
dude-
And the Romulan senator.
yeah.
The one guy who didn't get killed still got made look like a punk by the brother
Narek.
incest twin guy. Yeah, so I'm just saying, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to point out this pattern, and I wish they would stop
You
doing
should not
it,
be
but
sorry.
Yeah,
you
not
should
at
point
all.
it out
Thank you.
because people
Absolutely.
will not notice it unless you
Yeah.
point it out.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's been a thing since I've been noticing, like there was starting to be a balancing out before Force Awakens. There's starting to be a little balancing out of this kind of thing when it came to people and what they're born as. And then as the Force Awakens, they kind of brought back the kill and punk the black dude.
Well, and unfortunately,
And,
isn't that
okay.
common with like wasn't there a, and I hate to say this, but wasn't there like a kill the gays thing where all the gay? Like,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know
That's
what I'm
called
saying?
bury your gays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the trope.
It's like how
Battlestar Galactica,
like-
we're looking at you.
how are these a thing? Well, even on Discovery, that was a big thing. They had to bring back
Yep.
the Doctor, and I remember that
Yep.
It was.
I was
mean,
furious about it.
Not that they had to bring it back, and I don't know if it was planned before or not, but when it happened, I mean, because it's one of those things that I wasn't aware of until I was made aware of it during Discovery. Because I just, as much as I'm an ally, I still don't understand. I don't see the things that I guess should be seen. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, you just have a different perspective,
Yeah.
and it would be unfair to be like, how dare you not notice it, because it's the sort of thing that you don't really notice unless you're the person experiencing it.
Yeah.
All that matters is that you listen to people experiencing it and like take them honestly.
Yeah.
Some people
think-
will be like, that's not even true and that's not real, and they'll just like ignore the problem completely, and that's not
Yeah,
constructive.
I didn't even realize it till just now when you guys mentioned it. So I feel like I feel
Yeah.
bad, but yeah.
There's a book series that makes a interesting metaphor out of it, and it's called dimensional awareness. Since like you guys are born within your kind of like dimensional structure of life and like what you're exposed to, there's like shit tons of things going on. Like it happens with everybody. There's
Yeah.
things going on in the world that you don't see, but if someone cracks it open for you and you start seeing the patterns, that ups your dimensional awareness, and you'll start to see things you didn't see before.
It's like I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they do it on purpose, but I'm not at the same time. You know what I mean?
It's not on purpose. That's the thing.
Really? You don't?
Right.
Okay.
It's subconscious.
Not on purpose.
But yeah, let me touch on that Discovery thing for a sec. So you had, first of all, the moment that they said that they were going to start with a gay couple, I was worried because
Yeah.
we've never had a show start with a couple, and I was like, oh, one of them's going to die.
Yep.
Let me point out, okay, so there's this, Keith will know this very well, but there's this issue with black men in television where frequently they get to be one of two things. Either they have to be hyper masculine or they're gay. Like they don't get to be like a nerdy guy and also be straight. And if they do, they don't get the girl. When okay, so there's a trope called bury your gays, which is like if there's a gay character, the gay character will die.
Yeah.
There's a different trope called fridging, which is where a woman will be killed to create a plot for a man. It's called fridging because there's a comic book where I think it's
Kyle
I
Rayner.
think it's a Robin. Is it
Green Lantern.
Green
It's
Lantern? He finds his
Kyle
girlfriend in a fucking fridge. So he gets like upset and cryy about the fact that his girlfriend's dead. But of course, the girlfriend only existed to be killed, right? So
development.
Discovery managed to combine these two tropes by having the black gay character die for the white character's development. So ouch. That's one of the things that really upset me about Discovery Season 1. They did not plan on bringing the Doctor back because the writing group between Season 1 and Season 2 was totally different. Different writers.
Okay.
So I'm glad they brought him back, but I'm still upset about what they did in Season 1.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, these things happen, and I keep on bringing it up online, and people are getting sick of it. But it's more of like I do it almost too much on purpose because I need people to see this because
Yeah.
I've gone through this for long enough, and let's start recognizing the tropes so maybe it can eventually go away.
You're totally right, because they're not going to change if people are not conscious of them, because you have to fight against them on purpose. You have to notice when they appear and make sure that you don't put them in your own writing. Yeah. Or casting,
So
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah.
Well, sorry for
and
that.
then incest woman. Oh, go
Sorry
ahead.
for that awfully like depressing side note, but I think it's important to talk about stuff like that,
Yeah.
especially in
Yep.
shows like this, which are trying to improve the situation to avoid tropes that are
supposed to
damaging
be.
like that. Yeah.
It's supposed to be
supposed to be.
progressive, but anyway.
Anyway,
Other than that, I thought it was a little cheap that incest lady twin got away like that. Just like everyone else getting wiped out, and she's almost, and then they beam her out in time, and I guess then I have the small critique of their warbirds now look like birds.
like actual birds.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah,
But,
they're shaped like birds.
Yeah, I'll take a look again. They used to have birds painted on them though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bird of prey. Yep.
Okay, so sorry. Back to 7 of 9 and the Borg cube. With that conversation that they had about whether or not to reassimilate them and enslave them, and whether or not they could be released after, and whether they might not want to be released, that actually brings up a very interesting subject regarding cults and people entering cults for group safety and then surrendering their individuality as a decision for safety. Is somebody chewing? What's going on? Jay, what's that
There
sound
he
I'm
is.
hearing?
I'm not making any sound. I'm literally laying on a bed.
Well, I'm looking at your mic and it's lighting up.
Is it?
There's a scritch.
You know what? Maybe so. I've had anxiety issues, so maybe I was gritting my teeth without me knowing. I've been dealing with some anxiety stuff, so I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It just sounds like shifting paper or something.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
How dare you have anxiety?
Like, it's
You know
happening
what?
while
it
you
actually
talk.
might be my shirt. It might be the microphone rubbing on my shirt, actually.
I think it is.
That is more likely.
Okay. I'll hold the mic. Sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah, so it brought up like a very interesting point about cults and then just didn't touch it. And I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Borg are cult. Where are we
Yes,
going? Jay is a willing member of this cult.
Yes, I am. The
While we're talking
the
about-
queen can assimilate me anytime.
Yeah.
Hey.
Ba-dum-bum.
While we're talking about Romulan lady, because you brought her up, I must have skipped this in my notes because it definitely happens early on in the episode. We find out that the Romulan cell that was taken over were part of that group. We find out about her aunt, and I'm really torn about the scene with her aunt. I was like, the actress finally got a cool scene where like she was emotional and stuff, but the way she feels about her aunt didn't feel like it made any sense with the rest of her behavior. You know what I mean? Like they tried to make her
being-
soft and oh, I understand why she's behaving the way she is now. It's because she's so horrified by the synth thing, but it just it feels fake.
You mean how she's kind of turned into a person that can have compassion
exactly.
versus the monster?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. And also, I really I hope we get more of a reason why she was able to not go freaking mad at all. Like, I don't want it to be just... well, it's going to be because she's that much of a badass.
Yeah, but people
I would like
clawing
to
off
have a
their
reason.
faces, people tearing their hair out, and she's just like single tear.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, it felt like another Rios and his backstory scene. Like it was just they just threw it in there to kind of here's what's going on.
To be
and-
like, this is why she's against.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
exactly.
I'm with you.
Yep. She's cold
also just
and
to-
heartless and soulless.
Except when it comes to her aunt.
Yeah.
But she's heartless and
And her
soulless
brother.
towards her
No, I'm just
twin
kidding.
brother.
Well, that's a whole nother thing.
No.
That's a whole
Let's not
other
talk about that
thing.
again. Yeah. They put in scenes to explain to us why characters feel certain ways about things.
Yeah, when we should just find out naturally through the course of the story. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
If we have more episodes, maybe. Maybe.
Alrighty, so Agnes is now awake. Picard is
Yay.
mad for a good reason. I mean, that's fair. Agnes is like, yep, I murdered the dude. You can punish me for it. That's fair. And then she talks about what Commander O kind of... well, she says, Commander O poisoned me, poisoned my mind. And then she says, there's a psychic block in the way to keep her from talking about it, which I don't really recall being able to do
Yeah.
that, but whatever.
Well, but she also talked a really lot about it.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, exactly. That's the thing. She says there's a psychic block to stop her from talking about it in that scene.
Yeah.
And then later on, she just straight up talks about it. And I was like, okay, you guys couldn't even be consistent about this within the same episode? Really? She literally talks about it the next time that they're all together.
But there are details that we have, like the things they talked about so far. Like I think we've always known, such as, there's a synth threat, and she doesn't go into any details that we will be able to see on that planet.
it's just-
or any details that I want to know.
I'm like, did you guys just, like, you couldn't think of something horrible enough, so we were like, we'll just refer to it tangentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
The
it's really,
character
really,
keep
really
us going
bad.
for-
Believe us. Everyone will go crazy and throw up when they find out. It's just really, really, really bad. Don't worry about it.
Can we connect this with her talking to Soji already, or does that?
Oh, yeah,
do
no,
that
let's talk
connected,
about
actually?
that. No, wait. Okay, hold on. I just want to say first, she has a line where she says, I think about suicide every day. That's how I comfort myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that.
That
one.
was pop gothic grimdark.
Yeah, and nobody like
that
they didn't
was-
address it, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
No, they didn't address it.
You know, it's just like
They did
okay,
not.
that's normal. Wait, no, that's totally fucked up. Sorry, it's yeah.
There's actually a theme in
So
this
dramatic.
episode with that because Rios' captain does the same thing. It's like, in order to defend everyone from the synth threat, they have to do things so horrible that it makes them want to die. And I see what they're trying to say there, you know, regarding like actions that people have taken in the military, but I just feel like it's treating it way too cavalierly, and I don't like it.
Yeah, to not have Picard say anything, I mean, that seems unlike him. You know what I mean?
What? Because that's when Soji walks in and she says, "Oh yes," because it's Seb Sheneb the Destroyer, and it just
Yeah.
becomes about plot and not about this horrible thing that she's just said.
Yeah.
So when she's like her fawning over Soji was a little weird for me. I'm trying to do the work with them so that maybe I should be impressed that someone could wield like capillaries and like veins and whatnot so that it produces these things, and maybe that's the amazing thing. But once again, like everything they're describing seems so much like what you see with like your average clone or what you can see with like the holodeck image. And then also the last thing I need to say on this was like, so how does just looking at Soji make her not want to murder people? And what does it solve? What does it
Yeah, because like in a previous scene, she was like, you know, that fucking synth, whatever, and then she's like her biggest fan, and it was kind of weird to me.
yeah.
Again, this episode was great for the Picard remembering data scene, and other than that, it was just kind of all over the place.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any idea why just seeing Soji makes her no longer want to be part of the Wipeout synth war?
Well, I mean, if that was her like lifelong dream to see one of
To be a
those,
synth like that.
to create one or something, I mean, I could see her putting her anger away a little bit, but yeah, I mean, she was really pissed off in like the previous episode, so yeah, I don't see her coming that far, just meeting her, but
Well, and then she's like, you know, I basically like, yeah, I wanted to kill you, but now that I've met you, I don't want to anymore. Like,
Let's be
you don't have
BFFs.
to worry about it. Yeah, and I'm like, no, that's a little quick. Like, wait a minute. Not to mention, I'm still waiting for Soji to like rip her throat out.
it's like she's still the destroyer. Come on.
Right? I know.
I would be very happy if we found out that Agnes is lying to everybody right now, because it like the way Agnes seemed to react to that mind meld was that she had seen a good fucking reason. She was like,
Yeah.
whoa, okay, yeah, that can't be compromised.
Yeah.
I have to do terrible things and become beyond what I am
Yeah.
to do this. And no, but then she's like, you're so well made. I think I can stop now. Like, wait, no, what? Tell us stuff. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that scene was more about whether or not Agnes recognizes her as a person rather than like about how Agnes would feel, you know? Like the point of the point of that scene was to be like, but do you see me as a person? But you're a technological marvel, but do you see me as a person? So since it was written for the development of Soji, they're like, it doesn't really matter if it makes sense with Agnes's development so far. Hey, she used to super like the synths, so she'll still be super interested, even though she should be terrified of her, like whatever.
So that's my problem with it.
Yep. Michael, Jay, do you have anything else to say about that?
I already said how I felt about the scene. Yeah, but
Yeah, me too.
Ooh, was Rios listening to Billie Holiday?
I'm not
I
sure.
would not be able to tell.
It kind of sounds like her, but it's not a song that I'm familiar with. Anyway, sorry. Okay, let's talk about Rios again for a sec. Here's a weird thing. The first time he talks, he mentions what happened with his captain. He says, I used to pretend he was my father, and then it was kind of a surprise when he turned out to be a cold-blooded murderer. Because, you know, he killed Jaina and a beautiful flower. But then later on, he's like, oh, he hated himself so much that he killed himself. So it's just like the way that he describes his captain in two different scenes, like, don't really mesh well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, cold-blooded killers aren't going to have so much sympathy that they kill themselves.
Yeah.
Is that where?
Yeah.
He probably should have figured out that drama
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird because like they have him say that, and then later on he's like soft about his captain again. Like, did you not put these scenes? Were you not looking at the scenes together when you wrote them? It's just to like keep information away from us until later to be like, he was a cold-blooded killer, but was he? But wasn't he? But was he? You know, like.
Yeah,
I guess it's attached to the theme of being forced to do things that you would not morally do for the greater good.
Well, I mean, and the title of this episode was Broken Pieces. I think they were referring to the episode, Broken Episode.
Ouch.
The writer is like kicking himself. This was the producer who did this one, Michael Chabarn.
I was channeling Mike Keith in that statement there.
All right. Then we have a scene where all of the crew is finally together talking about stuff. Rios gets a Soji a peppermint ice cream and French fries. I've never seen pink peppermint ice cream.
I have.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want some.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's good.
all right.
Nice. Agnes says, "You're the closest I have come in a long time to having a crew. Sorry I had to fuck it up." Which, when were they a crew? But sure.
I was waiting for her to say family.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Agnes's block has disappeared and she can talk about it normally now. I wrote thanks for the recap scene. Do we need a recap scene in a 10 episode show? I mean,
I didn't.
thanks for re-explaining everything, I guess.
Did she really get to talk about what we want to know?
No,
guess,
but we know
yeah.
that Commander O is half Vulcan, half Romulan now. That was an important detail.
All right, now we know.
I'm a little disappointed actually that the Zat Vash have this memory from a different civilization rather than it being their own history.
Yeah.
I think they could have done something cool with that rather than just being like the unknown, because like the unknown disappeared civilization is just so Mass Effect to me.
Yeah, so do they keep bringing people to that site?
I guess every time they recruit a new set of people for of women, apparently, I guess maybe her brother's not really Zat Vash after all. They bring them to the Conclave of 8 and show them the memories again to make sure that there's always somebody. Yep.
And they let them know, hey, you might kill yourself, so hold on.
Be ready for that.
Yeah. It's going to drive you mad unless you're cold-blooded, insane person like who over there.
Yeah, but we have good dental benefits, so it's all right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
See.
So it's not that Starfleet did the attack on Mars, it was the Romulans, but also they were helped by the Romulan, that's half Vulcan, that's in Starfleet, so like it kind of is Starfleet actually did it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm done with this 9/11 stuff.
Yeah.
No more, please.
Oh yeah. They definitely, and then then America betrays itself after it's that, and we're doing that metaphor. Here we go.
Well, we have 2 episodes left of this season to figure out this stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, hopefully they give us some sort of conclusion and don't keep us completely hanging, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
The kind of reveal that would make everything worth it is something you get per episode in like a regular Star Trek or Stargate episode, and that I'm wagging my finger at them so hard for.
Wag.
Like, yeah, I don't feel like I've said holy shit once this season.
Me neither.
Like, has there been any kind of like big
It's
Stargate,
just like-
that last episode? It was the first part of 2, and like I got holy shit moments like about like 8
What
times.
episode are you on?
And,
Oh no, I know what episode you're on. Okay.
yeah, the ancients showed up, and like they're not as cool as I thought they were
Yes.
supposed
I've
to
been
be.
looking forward to you seeing that episode because there was another one where Jack pops up in like a weird hallucination, and you were like, "This is all they did with Jack," and then I was like, "Wait, there's another one with him."
Hey, you two, wrong podcast. Just
Sorry.
kidding.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just
Keith,
saying.
I'm excited for you. I'm more excited.
when-
Unfortunately, I'm more excited for you seeing that than I am excited for you seeing Picard right now. So,
Oh.
Yeah, but for me, it is fun to talk about things like this so that I'm reminded why I like them in the first place. So like,
Yeah.
it's not a total loss. Yeah, like Picard, goddamn man. But this is just like the world we're in.
Yeah.
And the growing pains. And then I also like to encourage people, like like I said, I think maybe before, this is like the comic book situation where your comic book changes, like creative team, suddenly it sucks, and then you have to remind yourself, it's not the brand name, it's the creative people that you're supposed to be following.
Let me just throw in right there. Sorry, we know some people are really enjoying Picard, and some people are really not enjoying Picard. Both of those things are totally valid.
Yep,
They're valid.
absolutely.
All opinions are subjective. We respect you.
Absolutely.
Respect each other.
Fully encourage you to like Picard if you like it, and I don't want to change anyone's mind. Just
We
Absolutely.
really want everybody to enjoy themselves. We wish we could be enjoying ourselves.
Yeah.
I have for the most part.
They just like, yeah, they just, and see, they already have me and Michael to make fun of. So when we're off, like off air, they make fun of us for loving it so much, but they're not going to let you know that. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't do that.
I know you don't. I know.
Sabrina and Keith have a separate podcast where they do that.
I know.
We actually
And then Jay
definitely
said-
don't do that because we're too busy talking about Stargate.
There you go.
yes.
Oh, you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding.
No, I believe you.
Well,
I,
or chat, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if you're loving Picard, God bless you. And
thank you, Keith.
And I'm happy for you guys. Yeah. Speaking of that, the Lost Serenas looks like crap. It looks like shrapnel, and it doesn't have a profile or personality like the Enterprise or Serenity. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my last note here.
Las Sirenas.
The-
I like the paint job, but it reminds me of Mass
but the
Effect.
profile, the profile is very not memorable.
Yeah, it's not memorable.
and
Yeah.
Wag my finger. But like, if you see the Serenity and you see that thing get hit, you're like,
Oh
"Oh
my
my God,
God.
Serenity, are you okay?"
Firefly has the Firefly class ship is such a brilliant design.
Agreed.
It is sexy.
It's a Firefly, and it has like the arms that shift back and forth. Oh, okay. Yeah,
And also kind of a profile that looks like a horse.
that's true.
Spaceship porn.
Which is perfect for Western sci-fi.
Space
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Firefly knew what it was. It was a Western sci-fi, and it was very much a Western sci-fi. What is Picard?
And Picard is Mass Effect
Not Star Trek, huh?
mixed with Battlestar Galactica, which, once again, they better deliver hard on this because they're doing a hand-me-down plot of a synth invasion, which has been done before, and then Star Trek Galaxy is too old and too big for this to be the moment that we have to worry about for a synth attack. I don't know.
I do feel weird about a series that's so like the world will end if we do it wrong because that's never really been a thing. I mean, Discovery does that too.
Yeah.
But before, I mean, like Voyager, literally the goal of Voyager is get back home. Like it doesn't have to be a big, huge save the universe thing.
Yeah.
Get back home is fine.
Yeah.
One thing I want to
Literally, TOS and TNG is just explore.
Yeah. One thing I want to point
thing
out
you wanna-
about Discovery, and without any spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the most recent season, but
Sorry.
no. I will admit that the finale of that season I did not see coming. So that was like a definitely no shit moment because
Oh, I know what the finale
the
is.
finale on Discovery, and again, I'm not going to give any spoilers for those that haven't seen it, but the finale for the last season of Discovery, I will admit, with all the stuff going on, I still didn't see it coming, and that was cool.
You mean how
Yes.
they end up?
And that was cool. Like I don't want to get into it just for people that haven't. Yeah,
I won't say it.
but
But I suggested they do exactly that several times
Okay.
on their like social
Okay.
media pages. And
so
I
you're
kind of feel like that was their only safe fix.
yeah.
Actually.
Well, for everything to line up, I just didn't see it coming. So I'm hoping that they do something similar on Picard. I mean, I'm hoping that there's some kind of like, whoa, this made it worth it. Like this whole that twist was like just exactly what I needed. You know what I'm saying?
Me too, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
also.
Yeah.
I kind of want that, but this is the gigantic weakness of serialization, like this at
know.
least, where I'd rather have this every
Yeah.
episode and not have to worry about
know.
getting one at the end of the season.
Agreed.
I do miss our short stories with characters that we love.
Yep.
What's that, Keith? Speak up.
What was that?
Huh?
I think there was a
What?
ghost
Yeah,
that
I know.
went by.
Yeah.
It's never mind. Don't worry about it.
All right.
I'm gonna go make some popcorn. You guys want some Orville?
Rickenbacker? I know.
Okay.
Hey, real quick.
right.
I prefer Jiffy Pop.
Can I, you guys, is it okay if I actually mention someone? There's just a comment on Twitter that I think is kind of fun, and I want to mention it before we get too far.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so,
Please.
and I kind of have Twitter up, and I follow the people that are kind of following our tweets and stuff while we're doing this. So James at the Milton on Twitter said, "Hurry, basically hurry and record. I need to be able to jump on the Discord and tell you why where I disagree with Voidcat Gaming. I love the fact that you have polar opinions. I just often find myself on the opposite side. No malice intended. So we might need to have
Awesome.
a guest speaker one of these days because
Yeah.
First
Oh,
off,
we have so many
yeah.
people who are like
Yeah.
willing to guest.
And-
Don't worry, we got a list.
But what really got me is I love I love, this is just a personal thing, and sorry Sabrina, but I love hearing Sabrina debate people because she is so passionate and
I love debating
yeah.
people. I'm glad you enjoyed
she
listening
is
to it.
so passionate and so into it that anytime someone's like, I want to get on and talk to her, to Voidcat, I'm like, yes, Liv, we need to make that happen.
I feel bad actually because sometimes and please let me know if I do this to you guys while we're recording, and believe me, I'm conscious of it and I'm trying not to do it, but I know that I have a tendency to be like, my opinion is the right opinion and shut up and listen to what I have to say. So
No.
I apologize
I've never-
if I do that. Please let me know.
I've never noticed that.
It is fun. It is a
I'm
lot of
trying
fun.
not to do.
I love it when she goes, yeah, well, you're wrong, but
Okay, you can think
Yeah.
that if you want, but
you're wrong.
Yeah, and let me tell you,
You're
let me
wrong,
tell
though.
you why you're wrong.
No, we love you.
But again, that's going to be part of that thing that Keith and I were talking about. Well, we were all talking about where like we come from very different perspectives. We'll notice completely different things in fiction, and therefore, like we care about totally different things in fiction too. So. I definitely have a tendency to be very loud with my opinions, but that doesn't at all mean that they're better than anybody else.
You don't say.
Well, at the core, we all love Star Trek, so which is why we're here.
Yeah, at the core, we all love Star Trek. We just see Star Trek differently, and that's where disagreements will happen. But the most important thing about Star Trek is that infinite combinations. No, it's
Infinite possibilities and
possibilities and infinite combinations. IDIC.
I might not like the show, but I'm having a blast talking about it and interacting about it. So that's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Star Trek never lets me down with that.
And what world would it be
And-
if we all agreed? It would be so boring.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
would be a horrible
True.
podcast.
And around the show, I'm reminded of like that thing that Picard said in I think Generations. Do you remember when we used to be? Do you remember when we used to be explorers? I'm like, yeah. Can we ever? Go
Yes,
back
I
to that?
remember. Can we do that again?
I know.
Like that's why we're here in the first place. I
no.
thought.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the episode. We pretty much covered it, except yeah. So this whole theme about Starfleet betraying us, I'm disappointed. I think I said before
I am
that I was like,
disappointed.
Starfleet better not be the villain here.
Yeah.
I'll say
But
that
it's-
they
it's-
aren't.
yeah, go ahead.
Starfleet got betrayed from the inside by a bad
by
guy.
O.
Well,
so
it's yeah.
that
It's
does
like what you
count.
said earlier. It's not Starfleet. It's O.
Yeah, it's so.
Yeah.
But that's not what the
now
line
that
he
they-
says.
Yeah.
And now that Starfleet does have the proper information, they are sending a fleet of ships, but I might not get to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so disappointing for you. I did laugh
Alas.
because Picard says fears the great destroyer, and I was like, oh, there's the theme of the show. There we go. There. Literally in quotes, fears the great destroyer. Now you know. And we talked about this episodes ago, how the showrunners are deliberately kind of making like a less perfect world where they can be like, look, us freaking out and becoming populists is getting in our own way. We're letting fear take over. And it's especially an important thing to kind of mention right now while people are definitely having... Oops, I didn't want to have this conversation. People are definitely having a reaction to the coronavirus that's very much like, I'll get my own first, and I'm not too concerned about everybody else around me with like toilet paper, for goodness sake. So yeah, humans are dumb, panicky animals, and fear makes us do stupid things. I agree. But I don't know if I needed it in Star Trek, I guess.
In Star Trek, we were supposed to have grown up by then and be a little better, but nope. They want their drama. They want to act. So if you want your Star Trek, you have to go elsewhere.
Yeah. I have a question.
Speaking of that,
No,
go.
speaking of that, go first.
Oh, I'm just going to spam more Orville stuff.
Okay,
All right,
never
skip
mind.
that.
No, I'm coming back to it.
The very last scene, we see them go into that tunneling that Soji's doing, whatever, and then a ship follows them in. Is that Narek?
Yeah, that's what
Did
I.
he catch up
That's
to
what
them
I
somehow?
think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
But I thought
absolutely.
he couldn't track them anymore.
But he remember how you guys said that he knew where the planet was.
Yeah, but they're not at that planet.
But-
They're on their way to that planet.
Yeah, I guess. Like
I think he's tracking them visually while in
maybe.
cloak.
So he was already in visual range when she sprayed herself.
I think so.
But we had a scene of him being like,
Likely.
"Oh no, the thing has disappeared." So
Yeah.
that goes with the theme of the
They forgot
episode.
to add a scene. Or no, like this one maybe we can have not see. Like it should be a surprise. He's still there and in cloak. And then like he is capable enough to retrack them down because he seems like he's a tracker. So it kind of makes sense. But in the Orville, they had this like synth attack, and like then in the same episode they had like like the synth invasion that it didn't start as an invasion. You had to find out something, and if there's like this big reveal, it does make you gasp. And they did it in one episode, and I'm just saying, Picard, this is not cool. All right,
all right.
that's all I have to say about it.
Okay. Well, so I guess our hopes are all that the ending of episode 10 so shocks and amazes us that it'll make everything worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want more character building, you guys.
Yeah, me too.
I just want less of the character building to be intrinsically tied to the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just thrown in.
I'm noticing, Michael, you keep on playing STO more lately.
Yeah, I have.
I was thinking like maybe like the show is giving you an itch and you're like, I need more, and that's why you're going to STO.
Oh, for like some real Trek, is that what you're saying?
I guess I am meta saying that, yes.
You're menacing that.
Well, that brings me back to something I was going to bring up. I didn't want to prolong the episode, but it's already been a little while. But Keith, I had a question for you. Do you think you consider like the original series to be Trek, correct? Yeah.
TOS?
And then,
Yeah. All those stuff fine.
and then like DS9 is also you consider to be true Trek as well, right? But you say they're both very different shows. Okay, so why don't you consider Picard to be Star Trek when it's different?
Hold on, we're
Still
gonna have a
chewing
whole
on
episode
that.
to talk about this.
Okay, I was gonna pick a fight
I'm
with
still
Keith,
chewing on
but
that.
I'll wait
and-
till later.
Yeah, we're gonna have a full.
This is a very big subject.
Yeah, I know.
We're doing a full podcast on that. But yes, I'm building my case as we speak. Trust me, I am aware of that question that why shouldn't Star Trek be allowed to change sometimes? And now I'm still working.
No, I'd like to have a
We'll
I'd like to have a
conversation
friendly
about it.
argument with you on podcast sometime. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're planning for it.
Yeah, we are.
Jay and I will sit back and just sip
like-
our tea.
Yep.
Just eat popcorn and watch us go.
No, just kidding. I actually have a lot of arguments on this exact thing too, about like why DS9 and TOS and TNG are something that I would consider Trek and not necessarily what's going on right now.
Yes, we need to talk
But
about that.
again, yeah, that's the thing. All of us have a very different criteria for what is and is not Star Trek or Firefly or Mass Effect, and being able to verbalize specifically what those things are for each of us, I think, or just like in general for anybody who's a Trek fan, makes it. Let me say this a different way. When I was in community college, I was friends with somebody and we got in an argument about diet soda. I was like, diet soda is disgusting because I can taste aspartame and aspartame tastes disgusting. And they were like, well, I think that regular soda is disgusting because I'm allergic to sugar. And I was like, oh, okay, well, those are two totally sensible reasons that we just don't share. And it's the same thing with like what you think is it or isn't Star Trek, or what you think is or isn't like it's just going to be different for everybody. So just because I don't think that it's Star Trek doesn't mean that I'll get mad at somebody else for thinking that it is. You know.
My buddy Jason, he's all in on like him and his like family watches Picard, and they're like, "This is just great." And I'm just like, "Wait, what? Huh? Oh, all right." Because for them, he was explaining like they don't ask the same kind of questions that come up in my mind. And like if you see an AI, then like tell me about why is this person AI? Why is that special? But for them, bam, AI, that's enough, and then they fill it in themselves because they're fine with that. And then what they're getting on the screen is like a big cinematic Star Trek experience per episode is what they're enjoying. So yeah, people get different things out of it, and yeah, that's how humans work.
Yay, humans! We're so inconsistent.
Yes, we are. What makes us different from the madness and chaos of regular other nature
and EMHs
of regular nature.
Yep.
I actually don't have any new theories. I'm going to stick to that theory. And I know the Melton said that it was his theory too, but I'm sure I mentioned it in an earlier podcast where we're like, Soji wasn't made from Data, but Data was actually made from a pre-existing thing discovered by Noonien. I'm still going to go with that because that seems like it. If Maddox went over to this new planet to research them, there's no reason why Noonien couldn't have discovered it also. So I don't really have any new theories. I'm just going to reinforce that one.
I just feel like that's too easy. I mean, obviously, that's probably what's going to happen, though.
but it wasn't too easy 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know.
But part of what we've been saying is that it feels like they're giving us the same information over and over rather than giving us new stuff. So the fact that it's too easy might mean that it's what's happening.
I know.
And it might mean that they're really leading us by the nose and they're going to trick us to the end, and I'll be amazed.
Hopefully.
That would be cool. I know.
Yeah, they could do it per episode. And also, I have a prediction, though, that the AI mom is from that planet they're going to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Glitchy AA mom?
Yeah.
Yep, no longer the planet, no longer the cube, but the planet.
Oh, that's right. You thought it was the cube before.
Yeah. That's not happening
I think
now.
she's just an independent program created specifically to keep Soji and Daj in line.
Do you think it's from Federation space or the planet of the synths?
Or was it downloaded directly into their computer? I think it's just like an independent program that runs automatically whenever she tries to quote unquote call mom.
Gotcha.
That it just like
I'm saying I'll go synth planet communication.
Okay.
I'm going with
Okay.
Keith.
Okay.
Surprisingly on this one.
Well,
That's surprising
I'm
me.
not sure we'll find out because it's kind of a smaller detail, but
Yeah.
sounds good. Well, so I guess overall, we were all a little disappointed with this episode.
Except for that one scene. Yep.
Except for that one scene. Yeah. I mean, it's important to be able to be like, this scene is good.
Yeah.
Jay got a little extra out of it because of that Borg
Yeah, I did.
thing. It was dope. I really liked it.
Jay's like, damn right I did.
Yeah, I did. That put this episode pretty high up there on my list. So that's all I needed.
Here's a really stupid question. How come the tubes connecting to Seven's back didn't break her shirt?
Borg
It just comes off again.
Borg
technology.
nanites.
Borg nanites.
Yeah, like hello.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nanites did it.
Self-repairing
Exactly.
fabric.
That's right.
It was
I mean, it can fly through space and time itself. It can get through some.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I mean, if they have nanites in their blood, I mean, it could just, like it could go through the material. If you use it under a microscope. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get that detailed.
Ooh, totally forgot to mention this, but we see Narissa, Romulan lady. She gets overpowered by XBs. First of all, like, a little creepy to have the XBs, like, that's such a shot straight out of a zombie movie. So, like, are we supposed to be on the Borg side or not? Because, but it does look like she got transported right before they tore her out. Yeah. she got beamed out, right?
Yeah,
I didn't
she did.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
She got
just in the
beat.
nick of time.
Which part
Yeah,
of
so
me,
we'll see her again.
one of the questions I have with that whole thing is, can the XBs still assimilate? Like, because they still got to have those tubes in their hands, right? I mean,
I don't know
Right?
if they do because a lot of their stuff got removed.
okay, because part of me was just like, yes, assimilate her, make her one of you.
Yeah.
Get her.
That's what
She'd
she
make
would
a cool
deserve.
Borg.
Except the problem is if they assimilate her, the same thing will happen that when they assimilated her aunt, that'll just shut the cube down.
Correct. And yeah, and here's another question for you. They jettisoned all those Borg into space, right? And then all
Yes.
those Romulan ships show up, right?
Yeah.
And Borg can theoretically live in space. So who's to say that there aren't
You
Borg?
don't have Borg clinging on to the Romulan
Yeah,
ship.
finding a way in or whatever, because they're Borg, right?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
right? Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Yeah.
So I
It
don't
would
think
be
it's going to
cool.
happen. So it's not a theory, but it's just a hey, if this happens, I'm on board.
Nice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, I did forget to say, last episode or the episode before, I was like, they better not be doing that thing where, you know, like everybody, 2 episodes ago, where everybody slowly disappears and then reappears.
Yeah.
But no, they're actually reappearing like at normal times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right. It's all right. I respect that. Cool. Well,
Birds of praise look like birds.
it looks like we're done for today. Sorry to end on that sour note, everyone. Oh, my bad.
I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
We love you too, Keith.
Once again, the special effects team, the visual teams,
Thank
you're
you.
doing great work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Excellent work. There's some killer acting
Oh, yeah.
in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Jerry
the
Ryan's
actors
doing
and
great.
Actresses are amazing. Yeah, really good.
Just great work. I wish that you had more relationship writing to do to act out.
Wish the writers had more to do. You know, like more time to dig deeper. Really.
Yeah, I wish that more of the time was dedicated to development and not straight plot.
Yep.
But
Yep.
what can you do with 10 or less hours? 8 hours? It's probably like 8 hours total runtime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
I
45-minute episodes or something. Yeah.
I think Sir Stewart did say that it was basically like a really long movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
You know what's funny?
I
At the
mean-
end of it,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to sit through on like Discord or whatever and like watch episode 1 all the way through in like one go, and just like do a commentary.
You mean season 1?
yeah, like
Sold.
season 1. Yeah, movie 1. How about that? We'll do movie 1, the 8-hour movie.
Oh yeah.
We'll do
I mean,
live commentary.
I'll do
I have a
commentary.
feeling that would be shorter than doing a Lord of the Rings extended edition
Agreed.
viewing, and I've definitely did one of those.
Yeah.
So why not? Maybe we can stream it, and then people can tell us how wrong we are live.
That would be fun.
I mean, the thing is, we can't have any audio or video from the show,
Right.
But we could totally stream it and like do like just our voices and us hanging out. You know what I mean? That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be like a fun 8-hour stream.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know when all 4 of us are gonna have 8 hours free at the same time.
Plus, I'm old, Keith. I can't, or Jay, I can't do that shit.
Yeah,
Well, dude,
right.
I'm right there with you, man.
I'm also upwards in
so-
age.
I'm not that young. Jeez.
Oh, super
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Aw.
so cute.
Aren't you
Oh
like?
my god!
Aren't you like
No,
20?
Barely.
I quit. I'm
Did you
leaving.
get out of high school
21?
or something? Like,
I'm still 12, you guys.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
have you decided if you're going to college or not?
Yeah, she has homework to do later, guys. We love you. I'm kidding.
I quit. Okay. Jesus. All right, that's it. We're done.
I just want to make sure that everyone remembers that when you look into the sky and the middle star and the Big Dipper, there's actually 6 stars.
Wow.
6
The
Yes,
more-
thank you for teaching us that, Keith. Actually, I that's awesome.
The more you
That's
know.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I just knew that there was a
Cool.
planet made entirely of diamond.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, and on those wild tangents that we have taken.
Yep.
I hope that you enjoyed the episode more than I did. I really do. I want everybody to like it. But As always, you can find us at 4hosts on Twitter. You can find us at thereare4hosts.com. You can find us on Pop Geeks. We now have a Discord. I believe that Michael linked the Discord in the Twitter, so you can find it there. And you can also follow us on Twitch at There Are 4 Hosts, I think.
Yep.
Is it There Are 4 Hosts?
There are 4 hosts. Yeah.
We may or may not play Bridge Crew on there at some point. We may or may not do viewing parties. So find us there.
Yep.
And
Yeah, we'll do
We're
stuff.
going to be
Keith?
more active. It's going to be a lot more fun. Anyway, yes, go ahead, Keith.
All right, thanks everyone for joining us. And remember, everybody, please, for the love of God, remember to keep.
Oh, one more thing.
Whoa, what?
We are Borg. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for
Bye,
listening.
bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Later.